I stared at my phone screen, blinking hard, willing the numbers to change. But they didn't. Where there should have been 5,432 on 18, my entire future wrapped in digits, there was just 1243 Us. My hands started shaking so badly, I had to set the phone down on my kitchen counter. My name is Sophia, and in that moment, 7 years of overtime, side gigs, and sacrifices vanished like smoke. That money was meant for my last chance at becoming a mother. I'm 36, single, and my biological clock isn't just ticking, it's screaming. IVF was my backup plan, my insurance policy against ending up childless, because I spent my fertile years building a career and waiting for the right partner. I called the bank immediately, my voice trembling as I explained the situation. "I'm sorry, ma'am," the representative said, "but these withdrawals appear to have been authorized. They were processed using your account credentials." "That's impossible," I snapped. "I haven't touched that account except to deposit money." "The transactions were completed over the past week through our mobile banking platform. Would you like me to email you the detailed statement?" I hung up and called my mother. She answered on the third ring, her voice unusually quiet. "Sophia, honey." "Mom, my IVF fund is gone. Someone cleaned out my account. I need you to—" "I can explain," she interrupted, and my blood turned to ice. Claire needed help. She was in trouble and we had no choice. The room started spinning. "What did you do?" "She owed some people money. Dangerous people, Sophia. They were threatening her. I helped her access your account. We were going to pay it back, I swear." I grabbed my keys and was in my car before I realized what I was doing. 15 minutes later, I burst through my mother's front door to find them both in the living room. Mom wringing her hands, Claire sprawled on the couch, scrolling through her phone like this was any other Sunday. $50,000, I said, my voice shaking. "My entire future. Gone." Claire barely glanced up. "Don't be so dramatic. Mom said we'd pay you back." "When? How? You can't even keep a job for more than 3 months." "Sophia," my mother stepped between us, "please understand. Claire was in real danger. These gambling debts, they were threatening to hurt her." "So you hurt me instead?" The words came out raw, stripped of everything but pain. 7 years, Mom. 7 years of saving every penny, of turning down vacations, living in a cramped studio, driving a car held together with duct tape. That money was for my baby. "You don't even have a partner," Claire scoffed. "Who knows if you'd ever actually use it?" I turned to her slowly. "You took my choice away. Both of you did." "We're family," Mom pleaded. "Family helps each other." "Family?" I laughed, and it sounded foreign even to me. "Family doesn't steal someone's dreams. Family doesn't—" I stopped, noticing something on Claire's wrist. "Is that a new Apple Watch?" She pulled her sleeve down quickly, but not before I saw it was the latest model, the $800 one. "I needed a phone for work," she mumbled. "That's not a phone, and you don't have a job." I turned to my mother. "Did you know about this? That she's already spending my money on luxury items?" Mom wouldn't meet my eyes. That's when I knew. They never intended to pay me back. This wasn't a desperate act to save Claire from danger. This was just another episode of The Claire Show, where my stepsister takes whatever she wants and my mother enables her. I pulled out my phone and started recording. "Say it again, Mom. Tell me exactly how you helped Claire steal my money." "Sophia, stop this. You're being childish." "Childish?" I pressed a few buttons on my phone. "I just forwarded all my bank statements to my email. I'm going to find out exactly how you did this. Every transaction, every transfer." "You wouldn't." Claire sat up finally, her face losing its smug expression. "You can't prove anything." But something in her voice, a slight tremor of fear, told me there was more to this story. Much more. I walked to the door, then turned back one last time. "You know what the worst part is? I would have helped you, Claire. If you'd asked, if you'd been honest, I would have given you whatever I could spare. But you didn't ask. You took. And now Now I'm going to find out exactly how you did it. Every detail, every lie. I met my mother's tearful gaze. And I'm going to make you both wish you'd never touched my account. Back in my apartment, I sat cross-legged on my bed, scrolling through years of text messages and emails. My phone buzzed. Another voicemail from Mom. I deleted it without listening. That made 17 since yesterday. You need to eat something, Fatima said, setting a plate of toast beside me. My best friend had shown up an hour ago with coffee and her laptop. You can't think straight on an empty stomach. I can't eat. Every time I try, I remember Claire's face when she shrugged off stealing my money. I picked up my phone, opening the banking app again. Look at this. 3 days before the main withdrawal, there were these small test transactions. They were checking if the access worked. Fatima leaned over. They planned this. This wasn't some desperate last-minute thing. Exactly. I pulled up an email from 6 months ago. Mom asked me to add her as an emergency contact on my accounts after I had that minor surgery. Said she was worried about me being alone. I trusted her. Call the police, Fatima said firmly. This is theft. It's not that simple. They used my credentials. Mom will claim I gave permission. I rubbed my temples. I need proof they acted without my consent. My phone buzzed with a text from Claire. Mom's crying because of you. Hope you're happy being so selfish. Selfish? I threw my phone across the bed. I'm selfish for wanting my own money? Save that text, Fatima said, grabbing my phone. Save everything. We're building a paper trail. She opened her laptop and started typing. I'm friends with a woman who works in fraud prevention at First National. Let me ask her some questions, hypothetically, of course. While Fatima typed, I found myself staring at an old photo on my wall. Mom, Claire, and me at Claire's college graduation. Even then, I was in the background, Mom's arm around Claire's waist. Always Claire. Sophia? Fatima's voice cut through my thoughts. Rachel just replied. She says unauthorized access to accounts often leaves digital fingerprints, IP addresses, login locations, device IDs. The bank can trace all that. I sat up straighter. Even if they used my login? Especially then. If someone accessed your account from a different device or location than your usual pattern, it's a red flag. I grabbed my jacket. I'm going to the bank, now. At the bank, I sat across from a fraud specialist named Marcus, watching him scroll through my account history. His expression grew increasingly concerned. Ms. Sophia, these transactions weren't just simple transfers, he said, turning his monitor so I could see. The money was moved through several accounts before reaching its final destination. That's unusual for family lending. I never authorized any transfers, I said firmly. I need all the records you can give me. There's something else, Marcus frowned, clicking through screens. The initial access to your account came through a password reset request, but your security questions were changed first. My hands clenched into fists. When? 2 weeks ago. The request came from, he checked the screen, an IP address in Las Vegas. Las Vegas? I felt sick. Claire was in Vegas 2 weeks ago. She posted photos from the Bellagio. Marcus's expression turned serious. Ms. Sophia, changing security questions without account holder authorization is identity theft. If you're saying you didn't approve these changes, I didn't approve anything. He nodded slowly. I'm flagging this for our fraud investigation team. They'll want to speak with you. Walking out of the bank, I called Fatima. You were right. They found evidence. Claire changed my security settings from Vegas before they took the money. That's criminal, Fatima said. What are you going to do? Before I could answer, another call came in, a Las Vegas number. My heart jumped. Hello? Is this Sophia? A woman's voice, unfamiliar. My name's Leah. I know what Claire did with your money, and it's worse than you think. How do you know Claire? We grew up together. Listen, she's involved in something bigger than gambling debts. That story about dangerous people threatening her? It's true, but not the way you think. She's gotten mixed up in... The line went dead. I tried calling back, but it went straight to voicemail. A text appeared seconds later. Sorry, can't talk more. Be careful who you trust. My phone buzzed again, Mom calling for the 18th time. But now I had a new number to investigate, and a name, Leah, Claire's childhood friend who apparently knew something important. I opened my laptop and started searching. If Claire thought she could hide behind Mom's protection forever, she was wrong, dead wrong. And this mysterious Leah might be the key to proving it. Your stepsister's not just a gambler, Bennett said, spreading documents across his desk. She's running a sophisticated financial scam. I'd found Bennett Sanders through Fatima's fraud investigator friend. He worked out of a small office above a coffee shop, the kind of place that screamed discreet rather than flashy. Perfect for what I needed. These are the transaction records from your account, he pointed to a flowchart he'd created. Notice how the money bounced through 6 different accounts before landing in an offshore gambling site? That's money laundering 101. I leaned closer. How did she even know how to do this? She didn't do it alone. Bennett pulled up another screen. See these routing patterns? They match other cases I've investigated. Someone showed her the ropes. My phone buzzed. Another text from Mom. Please call me. We can work this out as a family. I ignored it. Can you trace where the money ended up? That's where it gets interesting. Bennett typed rapidly. The final transfer went to a shell company registered in the Cayman Islands, but look at this. He highlighted a series of numbers. This account has received similar transfers from at least 3 other sources in the past month. What does that mean? It means your sister's part of a larger operation. They're using gambling sites as a front for moving money. He sat back, studying me. You sure you want to pull this thread? People who run these schemes don't play nice. They should have thought of that before stealing my IVF fund. Bennett nodded slowly. All right, but we do this smart. He pulled out a fresh notepad. Tell me everything you know about Claire's activities in Vegas. For the next hour, I detailed Claire's trips, her social media posts, everything I could remember. Bennett took meticulous notes, occasionally stopping me to ask specific questions about dates and locations. One more thing, I said, pulling up Leah's number. This woman called me yesterday, said she knew what Claire did with the money but got spooked and hung up. Bennett's eyes narrowed. Leah Shelton? You know her? She's come up in other investigations, usually as a witness who backs out at the last minute. He wrote something down. But if she reached out to you, she might be ready to talk. My phone buzzed again, Claire this time. Mom's having anxiety attacks because of you. Hope you're proud of yourself. I showed Bennett the text. They're trying to guilt me into dropping this. Classic manipulation. They're scared. He turned his monitor toward me. Look what I just found. Another account in Claire's name, opened 3 months ago. Guess who's listed as the co-signer? I leaned in, then felt my blood freeze. My mother? Your mom's signature is on multiple documents. She's not just covering for Claire, she's actively involved. I sat back, feeling like I'd been punched. Can you get me copies of everything? Already printing them. But Sophia, he hesitated. The feds monitor these offshore accounts. If I keep digging, they might get interested. Good. I stood up, gathering the documents. Let them get interested. I want everyone to see exactly what my family's been doing. Bennett caught my arm. Wait, there's something else. He pulled up one last document. This shell company? It's been used before, in a charity embezzlement case last year. The investigation was dropped suddenly, but the pattern matches what we're seeing now. Was Claire involved? The records were sealed, but... He wrote an address on a sticky note. This is where Leah Shelton works. If anyone knows the connection, it's her. I took the note, then noticed Bennett watching me with concern. What? Just be careful. People who commit financial fraud usually have other secrets they're willing to do anything to protect. I'm already living my worst-case scenario, I said, standing up. They stole my chance at having a child. What else can they take from me? Your freedom, if they try to frame you for involvement. He handed me his card. Call me before you confront anyone else. And Sophia? He met my eyes. Don't delete any messages from them, no matter how nasty. Evidence is your best protection now. Walking to my car, I got another text, an unknown number. Back off now. You're not ready for what you're about to find out. I showed it to Bennett, who had walked me out. Threatening messages usually mean you're getting close to something big, he said. Want me to trace the number? I nodded, watching as he made a note of it. For the first time since discovering the theft, I felt something besides anger and hurt. I felt powerful. They think they can scare me into silence, I said, getting into my car. But they have no idea what I'm willing to do to get justice. Bennett's expression was grim. Just remember, the deeper you dig, the darker it might get. Good. I started the engine. I'm done being the nice, understanding daughter anyway. It's time they learned who I really am. I slapped the bank documents down on my mother's kitchen table. Want to explain why your signature is on Claire's secret offshore account? Mom's coffee cup clattered against its saucer. Sophia, I don't know what you're talking about. Don't lie to me. Not anymore. I spread out the papers Bennett had given me. Your signature is all over these. You didn't just help Claire steal my money. You've been helping her hide money for months. She stared at the documents, her face draining of color. Where did you get these? Does it matter? What matters is you're involved in financial fraud. Both of you are. It's not what you think. Mom's hands trembled as she pushed the papers away. Claire needed help. She was in trouble. Stop! I slammed my hand on the table. Stop making excuses for her. She's 31 years old, Mom. When does she start facing consequences? You don't understand what's at stake, Mom's voice cracked. If this gets out, if you go to the police, you'll ruin Claire's life. What about my life? I leaned across the table. What about my chance to have a child? Did either of you think about that when you were stealing my money? We can fix this, she pleaded. I'll help you save up again. I'll take out a loan. I'm 36. I don't have time to save up again. The words echoed off the kitchen walls. Do you know what the success rates are for IVF after 40? Do you even care? Of course I care. You're my daughter. Am I? Because it seems like Claire's the only daughter you actually protect. Mom's face crumpled. Please, Sophia, for the sake of our family, let this go. Family? I pulled out my phone and played a recording. Claire's voice saying, who knows if you'd ever actually use it? Followed by Mom's plea about family helping each other. You're recording us? I'm protecting myself because unlike Claire, I don't have you to clean up my messes. The front door opened and Claire walked in, freezing when she saw me. What's she doing here? I turned slowly. Funny, I was about to ask about your trips to Vegas, the ones where you set up shell companies and offshore accounts. Claire's eyes darted to Mom, then back to me. You're insane. You don't know what you're talking about. Really? I pulled up photos on my phone. You at the Bellagio 2 weeks ago, the same day someone changed my account security questions from a Vegas IP address. Want to explain that? Sophia, stop this. Mom stepped between us. You're being vindictive. Vindictive? I laughed. I'm being vindictive because I won't let you sweep theft and fraud under the rug? Because I won't pretend everything's fine while Claire destroys lives? You're the one destroying lives, Claire shouted. Mom's sick with worry because of you. No, Mom's sick with worry because her crimes might be exposed, because her perfect daughter might face consequences for once. Is that what this is about? Claire sneered. You're jealous because Mom loves me more? The room went silent. Mom's face whitened. Claire, I never... Don't, I cut her off. At least Claire's finally being honest about something. I gathered the documents. I'm going to the police. I'm going to tell them everything. Wait! Mom grabbed my arm. Please, I'm begging you. We're family. Family protects each other. I pulled free. Family doesn't steal dreams, Mom. Family doesn't commit fraud together. You have no proof, Claire said, but her voice wavered. I have more than you think, and I'm not the only one investigating you. Claire's face changed, fear flickering in her eyes. What does that mean? Who are you talking to? Wouldn't you like to know? I headed for the door, then turned back. Oh, and Mom? Check your text messages. I just sent you proof that Claire bought luxury items with my stolen money. So much for desperate gambling debts, right? Mom's phone dinged. Claire lunged for it, but Mom was already opening the message. Her gasp said everything. Claire, you said you needed the money for debts, but these purchases... I left them arguing, walking to my car with steady steps. My phone buzzed. Another anonymous text. Last warning. Stop digging. I showed it to Bennett, who was waiting in his car down the street as we'd planned. Good news, he said, typing on his laptop. That threat just gave us probable cause to trace the number. Ready to find out who's really pulling the strings? I buckled my seatbelt, watching my mother's house shrink in the rearview mirror. Ready to burn their whole world down. The coffee shop was nearly empty when Leah slid into the booth across from me. She looked nothing like her social media photos. Thinner, more haunted, with dark circles under her eyes. I can only stay 15 minutes, she said, glancing at the door. If Claire finds out I'm talking to you... She won't. I placed my phone on the table, recording app running. Tell me what you know. Leah wrapped her hands around her coffee cup. It started last year. Claire got involved with some people who run an investment scheme. They use charity fundraisers as fronts to launder money. What kind of charities? Children's causes, mostly. People donate cash thinking it's going to help sick kids. Instead, it gets filtered through gambling sites and offshore accounts. She lowered her voice. Claire handles the paperwork, creates fake donor lists. I helped her once. Just once. But then I saw how deep it went. The charity embezzlement case that got dropped suddenly, I said. Was that you? Leah's hands shook. They made it go away. They're good at making things go away. Who's they? I can't. She looked around nervously. Just know Claire's not some innocent gambling addict. She's their golden girl, smart enough to handle the finances, reckless enough to take risks. And your mom? She's been signing documents for months. My phone buzzed. Bennett had sent a text. Trace the threat. Number belongs to someone named Marcus Wright. Running background check now. Leah saw the name and went pale. You need to be careful. Marcus is dangerous. He's the one who... She stopped abruptly as the coffee shop door opened. A man in a business suit walked in. Leah stood up so quickly she knocked over her coffee. I have to go. Wait, I grabbed her arm. I need more details. About the charities, about Marcus. Check the Children's Hope Foundation, she whispered. Look at their donor lists from last December, but don't let them know you're looking. She pulled free and practically ran from the shop. I immediately called Bennett. Ever heard of the Children's Hope Foundation? Give me a minute. I heard typing. Found it. Small charity. Supposedly helps kids with medical bills, but interesting. Their tax records show millions in donations, yet barely any actual charitable spending. Can you get me their donor lists? Already on it. And Sophia? That Marcus Wright who sent the threat? He's their financial director. I felt cold. So the threat came from inside the charity. It gets worse. I found 6 other charities with the same pattern, all connected to an investment group called Pinnacle Partners. And guess who's listed as their compliance officer? Claire, I said flatly. Bingo. She's not just involved. She's helping run the whole operation. I thought about my mother's signature on those accounts. Mom must know. There's no way she's been signing documents without realizing. Want to see something really interesting? More typing. Your mom's name appears on regulatory paperwork for 3 of these charities. As a board member. The coffee shop suddenly felt too small. I walked outside, needing air. Send me everything you have. I'm going to... A black SUV screeched to a halt beside me. The window rolled down, revealing Claire's angry face. Get in. No chance. Get in, or I'll tell everyone about that thing you did in college. You know, the reason you had to transfer schools? My blood ran cold. That was my darkest secret, something only family knew. You wouldn't? Try me. Your choice. Get in and we talk, or I start making phone calls. I looked at my phone. Bennett had sent another text. Don't do anything stupid. I'm 5 minutes away. But Claire was already opening the door. TikTok, sis. What's it going to be? Your reputation or a little chat? I typed quickly. SUV, black, following Claire. Track my phone. Then I got in. Claire pulled away from the curb. You've been causing problems. You stole my money. I borrowed it. There's a difference. She turned onto the highway. But now you're sticking your nose where it doesn't belong, making accusations, talking to people you shouldn't be talking to. Like Leah? Claire's hands tightened on the steering wheel. Leah should learn to keep her mouth shut. Like the kids your fake charities are supposed to be helping. The SUV swerved slightly. You have no idea what you're talking about. Actually, I do. Children's Hope Foundation, Pinnacle Partners, Marcus Wright. Should I keep going? Claire's face hardened. You really want to play this game? Because I've got nothing left to lose. But you've got that squeaky clean reputation, that consulting business, that dream of being a mommy. Would be a shame if something happened to all that. My phone buzzed. Bennett. Got your location. Police en route. Keep her talking. I smiled coldly at Claire. You're right. Let's talk. About everything. The investigators arrived at my mother's house at exactly 9 a.m. I watched from my car across the street as 2 federal agents in dark suits walked up to her door. Even from here, I could see Mom's face crumple when they showed their badges. Ms. Rodriguez, the female agent held up a warrant. We need to speak with you about the Children's Hope Foundation and several other charitable organizations you're affiliated with. Claire's silver Mercedes screeched into the driveway. She jumped out, still wearing yoga pants, looking panicked. Mom, what's going on? The male agent turned. Ms. Claire Howard? Perfect timing. We have some questions for you as well. I stepped out of my car, walking slowly toward them. Claire saw me and her eyes went wild. You did this. Actually, I said calmly, you did this. I just made sure people found out. Inside, please, the female agent gestured to the door. All of you. In the living room, Mom sat rigid on her floral couch while the agents laid out documents. We have evidence of systematic fraud across multiple charitable organizations, the male agent explained. Money laundering, tax evasion, embezzlement. This is ridiculous, Claire interrupted. We help children. We raise money for medical treatments. Really? I pulled out my phone. Because according to these records, less than 2% of donations actually went to medical care. Want to explain where the rest went? You have no right, Claire started, but Mom cut her off. Claire, stop! Her voice was tired. Just stop! The female agent opened her laptop. Ms. Rodriguez, we have recordings of phone conversations between you and Marcus Wright discussing the movement of funds through offshore accounts. Would you like to explain those? Mom's face went ashen. I want my lawyer. Good idea, the male agent said. You'll need one. We also have evidence of identity theft, unauthorized access to financial accounts, and falsified documents. Multiple counts. Claire jumped up. This is all Sophia's fault. She's trying to destroy our family because she's jealous, because she's bitter about... About what? I stepped closer. About you stealing my IVF fund? About Mom helping you do it? Or about the fact that you've been stealing from sick children to fund your lifestyle? You don't understand anything, Claire screamed. Those kids still got help. We just took a little extra... The agents exchanged looks. The female one made a note in her pad. "Claire," Mom whispered, "please stop talking." But Claire was unraveling. "It wasn't even that much money, and Sophia doesn't need it. She's not even married. She doesn't deserve to be a mother." The room went silent. I stepped right up to Claire, my voice ice cold. "No, what I didn't deserve was a family who'd steal my dreams, who'd help run charity scams and then act like victims when they got caught." A commotion at the door made us all turn. Marcus Wright was being led in handcuffs, 2 more agents behind him. "Found him trying to board a flight to Mexico," one agent said. Marcus saw us, and his face darkened. "Claire, you promised this was handled." "I tried," Claire stammered, "but she wouldn't back off." Mom stood up suddenly. "I need to use the bathroom." "Ma'am, please stay seated," the female agent said, but Mom was already hurrying down the hall. "Stop her!" Marcus shouted. "She's going to destroy the files." 2 agents rushed after her. We heard a scuffle, then Mom's voice crying out, followed by the sound of ripping paper. They brought her back in, holding a shredded stack of documents. "Found her trying to destroy these," one agent said. I looked at my mother, really looked at her. Her perfectly styled hair was messed up, her expensive blouse wrinkled. She wouldn't meet my eyes. "Mom," I said softly, "even now you're trying to protect her instead of doing the right thing." "I'm trying to protect both of you," she burst out. "Everything I did was for my daughters." "No," I shook my head. "Everything you did was to cover up Claire's crimes, and now you're both going to face the consequences." The agents started reading rights, placing handcuffs on wrists. Claire broke down sobbing. Mom just looked defeated. As they were let out, my phone buzzed, a text from Bennett. "You okay?" I watched the police cars pull away, red and blue lights reflecting off the perfect suburban windows. "No," I typed back, "but I will be." Another car pulled up, a familiar face behind the wheel. My father, who I hadn't seen in years, stepped out looking concerned. "Sophia," he said, walking up, "we need to talk. There's something you should know about your mother and Claire, something that happened years ago." I felt a chill. Somehow I knew this wasn't over. It was just beginning. "Your grandmother left you an inheritance," my father said, setting down his coffee cup in the small diner. "A significant one. Your mother was supposed to give it to you when you turned 30. I stared at him across the table. "What inheritance?" "Almost $200,000. He pulled out an old envelope, yellowed with age. "Your grandmother knew about your fertility issues. She wanted you to have options." My hands shook as I opened the envelope. Inside was a copy of my grandmother's will, with a letter addressed to me. The paper crackled as I unfolded it. "My dearest Sophia," I read aloud, "I know the struggles you face. This money is for your future children, however they come to you." "Your mother was the executor," my father continued. "She was supposed to tell you about it 6 years ago. The implications hit me like a physical blow. She knew, all this time while I was working overtime, living in a tiny apartment, saving every penny, she knew I had money waiting for me? It gets worse." He pulled out more documents. "I've been tracking the money. Your mother used it to bail Claire out of her first gambling debt. Then she used what was left to start those fake charities. My inheritance funded their fraud?" The words tasted bitter. "They used your money to build their whole operation." He looked ashamed. "I only found out recently. That's why I'm here." My phone buzzed, a text from Claire. "I have dirt on you too. Back off, or everyone learns your secrets." I showed it to my father. "She keeps threatening to expose something from my college days." He frowned. "What is she talking about?" "Nothing, because nothing happened." I met his eyes. "Claire made up a rumor about me cheating on exams. It spread so fast I had to transfer schools. But it was a lie, her lie. I just never had proof. Until now." He pulled out one final document, an email printed years ago. "Claire sent this to her friend, bragging about how she framed you. I found it while investigating the charities. I read the email, my hands trembling with rage. All these years I'd carried that shame, lost friends, changed schools, and it was all Claire's manipulation. The investigators need to see this, I said, standing up. All of it. At the federal building, we laid out everything for Agent Sarah Martinez. The inheritance documents, the trail of fraud, Claire's email confession. This changes things, Agent Martinez said, making notes. Financial fraud is one thing, but misappropriating an inheritance, using it for criminal enterprises, that's a whole new level of charges. My phone buzzed again. Mom this time. Please don't do this. I can explain everything. Can you explain why you stole my inheritance? I texted back. Why you watched me struggle for years knowing you'd taken my money. I did it for Claire. She needed help. And I didn't? I wasn't worth helping? No response. Agent Martinez touched my arm. We're offering Claire a deal if she testifies against Marcus Wright in the charity operation. Would you object to that? What about my mother? She's looking at serious charges, the inheritance fraud alone. My phone buzzed one last time. Claire again. Mom's having a breakdown because of you. If anything happens to her, it's your fault. I showed the agent. Still trying to manipulate me. We see this a lot, she said gently. Abusers often try to shift blame to their victims. I'm not their victim anymore. I straightened up. I want to press every possible charge, the inheritance, the IVF fund, the charity fraud, the college scandal, all of it. My father squeezed my shoulder. I'll testify about the inheritance. It's time the truth came out. As we left the federal building, Bennett was waiting outside. You okay? No, I admitted, but I'm done letting them hurt me. The fertility clinic called, he said softly. They want to talk to you about their victim assistance program. Apparently, they help women who've had their IVF funds stolen. For the first time in weeks, I felt tears spring to my eyes. Really? Really? He took my hand. You're not alone in this anymore. My phone buzzed one final time. Fatima. Just heard from the clinic. Girl, we're getting you that baby. Your real family has your back. I looked at Bennett's hand in mine, at my father's supportive smile, at Fatima's message. Claire and Mom had tried to break me, but they'd only made me stronger. And now, finally, justice wasn't just coming. It was here. The courtroom fell silent as the judge adjusted his glasses. In the matter of financial fraud, identity theft, and criminal conspiracy, the court finds the defendants guilty on all counts. I sat between Bennett and Fatima, gripping their hands as the judge continued. Claire Howard, for your role in orchestrating these crimes, you are sentenced to 5 years in federal prison, followed by 3 years of supervised release. You will make restitution to all victims, including the charities and Ms. Sofia Rodriguez. Claire's shoulders slumped. She didn't look at anyone. Celine Rodriguez, for your participation in these crimes and the misappropriation of inheritance funds, you are sentenced to 3 years in federal prison and 2 years of supervised release. You will also be required to make full restitution. My mother turned to look at me, tears streaming down her face. I met her gaze steadily, refusing to look away. For once, she was the one who broke eye contact first. Outside the courthouse, reporters clustered with microphones. Ms. Sophia, how do you feel about the verdict? Justice wasn't served on a silver platter, I said clearly. It had to be fought for, but today shows that the truth always comes out. My phone buzzed, a message from the fertility clinic. Your donor match is ready whenever you are. Bennett squeezed my hand. Ready to go make some better memories? At the clinic, Dr. Patterson smiled warmly. The anonymous donor who funded your IVF read about your case online. She said something about karma and justice coming full circle. Anonymous donor? I looked at Fatima, who was suddenly very interested in her phone. Don't look at me, she grinned. I just shared your story on Reddit. It went viral all on its own. Dr. Patterson continued, We've already completed all the preliminary work. With the donor funding, we can start your treatment protocol tomorrow. Tomorrow? My voice cracked. Unless you need more time? Bennett wrapped his arm around my waist. She's ready. We're ready. I turned to him. We? If you'll have me, he said softly. I'm all in, Sophia, every step of the way. Fatima pretended to gag. Get a room, you two. Actually, wait. Get a nursery. My phone buzzed again. A message from Leah. Claire's been offered a reduced sentence for naming names in the charity scandal. She took the deal. Karma really is beautiful. Another message popped up, this one from my father. Your grandmother would be so proud of you. Dinner tonight? I have more stories about her to share. Dr. Patterson cleared her throat. There's one more thing. The success rates for your age and health markers are extremely promising. In fact, but I was barely listening because Bennett had pulled out a small box. I was going to wait for a more romantic moment, but this feels right. You're the strongest, most incredible woman I've ever met. Marry me? Fatima squealed. Dr. Patterson wiped her eyes. And I thought about the little girl I used to be, always trying to earn my mother's love, always competing with Claire, always being told to be quieter, smaller, less demanding. That girl was gone. Yes, I said, watching Bennett slide the ring onto my finger. But I'm keeping my name. I wouldn't have it any other way. My phone lit up one last time, a message from Mom's prison email account. I know it's too late for sorry, but I'm proud of you. You became everything I should have been. I showed it to Bennett. Think she means it? Does it matter? He asked gently. No, I realized. It doesn't, because I had something better than her approval now. I had truth, justice, love that didn't come with conditions. And soon I'd have the family I'd always dreamed of, one built on trust and honesty instead of manipulation and lies. Dr. Patterson handed me the treatment calendar. Ready to start your next chapter? I looked at Bennett's loving smile, at Fatima's excited tears, at my engagement ring catching the light, at the calendar that would lead me to motherhood. They thought the money was the thing I couldn't replace, I said, signing the forms. But what they really stole was hope. What they never saw coming was me finding something better, something real. Bennett kissed my temple. Let's go home. We have a nursery to plan. Walking out of the clinic, I felt lighter than I had in years. Claire and Mom had tried to write my story for me, but they'd forgotten one crucial thing. I was always meant to be the author of my own happiness. And this was just the beginning.